Hey everybody, Jonathan here from Game Thing Daily. The iPad 2 came out today, and along with its launch came some apps that were updated or released today that are said to take advantage of the iPad's more powerful processing power and graphical hardware. So I thought we'd take this opportunity to take a look at any differences that may be at play. So just to set this up real quick, on the left we have an original iPad. This is a 64 gigabyte Wi-Fi version. And on the right side we have an iPad 2 32 gigabyte Wi-Fi version. The iPad 2 was restored from an image of the original iPad here, so these are basically in identical condition. And they have both just been rebooted, so there's nothing lingering in the memory, nothing running in the background. So let's go ahead and kick it off. The three games we're going to be looking at is Real Racing 2 HD, Infinity Blade, and Dead Space for iOS, all of which the developers have said have been souped up for the iPad 2. So let's go ahead and try to launch these at the same time here. Is it unsuccessful? Close, but not quite. So they're both loading up here. Weirdly enough, on the iPad 2, we didn't even get that initial screen, but they're both in the opening video here. Let's go ahead and skip that on both. Loading up into Game Center here, and we are at the title screen. So just taking a quick glance at these right off the bat. Not too much difference. There are some minor differences in the UI, weirdly enough, in size. But let's go ahead and get a car up here. I just purchased this game today, so I have not tried it before, and all we can do is look at cars here. So let's do that. Firemint, the developer of Real Racing 2 HD, has said that they've implemented, among many other things, better reflections, and most notably, full screen anti-aliasing, removing those jagged edges on polygons in the iPad 2 version, and upon first glance, I would say that is definitely noticeable. Some rough-looking lines in the original iPad version, a little bit of shimmering in the background with those cables running across the edge of the track, and definitely none of that going on in the iPad 2 version. So yeah, some appreciable differences here. So yeah, I guess that does it for Real Racing 2 HD. So it wouldn't be right to look at iPad 2 or iPad, for that matter, graphics without Infinity Blade. So let's do that. Here we go. All right, pretty close there. So both loading up, going through the splash screens here. So far, about the same. Got the title screen on iPad 2 here, iPad 1 as well. And it's ready on iPad 2, so let's go ahead and start that. And iPad 1 is still loading. Still loading. All right, there we go. So, quite a bit of difference there in the load times. iPad 2 was really quick to load this up. So we were at a enemy encounter here. This is from a previous gaming session. So I don't know. Right off the bat, nothing too dramatic. Maybe a little bit, I don't know, sharper textures on the iPad 2 version. Let's jump into the fight here. Okay, as we get close up on the characters here, it's immediately noticeable that the iPad 2 version has some better texture work going on here. A lot clearer, and the enemy character here is really shiny. And he's not shiny at all on the original iPad version. So, as Epic said, there are some definite optimizations going on here. I don't know how significant they are, and obviously they are purely cosmetic. Look at that. They both seem to run equally smooth. Okay, let's not do that. I almost restarted the Bloodline. Let's load last checkpoint and just see the loading times one more time. See if there's any difference on this sort of quick checkpoint load. So iPad 2's up. Still waiting on the original iPad. Okay, we're up. So some significant differences there on load times, and some appreciable differences in graphical fidelity, especially in that texture work. So let's look at our last game here, Dead Space. So here we go. And always that left hand. All right, both are loading up here. Use headphones for the best experience. Yep. So iPad 2 is in. And original iPad is in. Not significant. A little bit faster loading on the iPad 2. So let's jump into the game here so we can get a sense for any differences, if there are any. So loading up, tap to continue. The original iPad was ready a little bit sooner, weirdly enough. Okay. So at first glance, definitely some texture differences going on here. iPad 2, the character textures are significantly clearer than on the original iPad version. And just looking around here a little bit, get a similar vantage point here. The iPad 2 also has some noticeable lighting differences going on. If we look around here and up here, we see some highlights that aren't visible on the original iPad version. Let's look around a little bit more over here. Yes, search for an exit, do that. Yeah, also here around the windows, we see some lighting that is apparent that seems to be completely absent in the original version. So yeah, it looks a fair bit different on the iPad 2. So that's going to do it for the games. I would say overall, ranging from minimal to appreciable differences between the two platforms, especially when it comes to loading times. It seems like iPad 2, especially in Infinity Blade, loaded that stuff up real quick. But as far as the graphical differences, I would say mostly just noticeable if you have them side by side. I don't know how apparent they really would be if you were playing just one version or the other, with the exception of maybe that anti-aliasing in Real Racing 2 HD. That looked quite a bit nicer, a lot cleaner. So that's going to do it for this short video. If you want to check out the day's biggest game news, head out to GameThingDaily.com, updated every day at 8 p.m. with the biggest news from the gaming world that day.